Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the official Para YouTube channel. Today we are live um, with the whole team. Instead of doing the Hump Day Huddle on Twitter Space, we're going to do it here. Got some surprises for you guys. So let's bring in Cameron, Rad, and Lee, and I believe Spencer is going to be joining us as well. But let's bring those in, and then let's get started as soon as we get more people in here. Cameron, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Rad, good morning. Lee, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Oh shoot. I wonder if I should clear my desk real quick.
Should you blur your background?
Maybe. Actually, everybody knows what I do. It doesn't matter.
Nope, it does not.
That is a testing weapon we're testing something with, hopefully this week. So
Awesome.
Looks like a good time.
that's what we do.
Well, good morning, everybody. I see J. Frass, Broderson, Yaba, CP Medic Arena. Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
Morning. How's it going?
Good. Been busy.
Yeah, it's good. So is this on Twitter as well as YouTube?
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. I will make sure to tweet it out. And then I think if we want, can we share out a link maybe in our Telegram if we, like when we're ready for questions, so people if they want to come on and ask questions they can.
Yeah,
Something
absolutely.
like that.
What I'll probably do is have people message me, and I can send it out one at a time because we can only have so many people. I don't want too many people flooding it at the same time. But people, if you guys have a question and you guys want to come on and talk, just let me know. Message me on Telegram, and I'll send links out to everybody.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Not a problem. Warner Kruger, Fred. So we've got about 18 people in here, so maybe if you want to wait till Spencer planning on coming on.
Yeah, let me reach out to him. I know he's planning on coming on. His daughter's been sick, unfortunately, so I don't know if that's contributing, but let me just text him anyways.
Sounds good.
Hello, Rad. How are you, Rad? Look at this background. Did you paint a wall that color in your house? It's amazing.
No, I mean, I wish I could, but no, it's green screen. It's really just because I don't want to clean up the mess that is my bedroom right now. I'm doing that whole just need to refocus my mind, so I totally rearranged all the furniture. It's a whole pile of stuff that I don't know where it goes yet. So green screen is it. That's what we need to get you, and then you won't have to worry about what's in the background on your whiteboard. You just
No, I had to wipe the whole thing off. 15 minutes ago, I started wiping the whole back. I thought ahead today. I'm busy usually, and usually I'm like rushing to jump on these things. But I went ahead and erased everything this morning.
No passwords to share?
Not today. Not today.
All right. So Spencer will be joining us. He's going to be here in about 10 minutes. So we can get in on our updates. Let's see. I did send in our group, Lee, just in the general messages, just kind of a list of a few things. I don't know if there's other things that you want to cover, but I think a good place to start would be, we've been talking about Prime Trust for a little bit, but finally we got it done. So the contracts are signed, they're paid, and we are working on, we've been in their sandbox kind of demo area, but we're now building, and it's fun seeing the team. They've been producing a whole bunch of new updates, and we've got a demo to show. But yeah, that was a big thing. We've been working on that, and yeah, it's cool. So one of the guys we're working with over there, his name is Avi, and he has a podcast as well. So he'll get Lee and myself on there, and we'll be able to talk about Prime Trust and Para and what we're doing. And but yeah, this is a big step for Para, and yeah, it's cool. So we'll be looking at doing some joint marketing and things like that with them. But more importantly, we have access to build and just go wild with this thing. So it is all done and dusted and ready to go. So that was a big thing. You have anything on that, Lee?
No, I know that we were able to secure funding for not just the getting set up with Prime Trust, but our first year of Prime Trust has completely been covered. So we're pushing to get the release. I think we're still maybe we wait till Spencer get on, but on schedule for certain things. And it was really cool. We had somebody jump up and do that, and we've got some more. There's always stuff to do. There's more stuff to do with Prime Trust even right now. But yeah, 100%. I just saw that you sent that paid invoice yesterday.
Yeah, it was fun to get that receipt back and see that it was all paid in full, and that's a big thing. And seeing that receipt, that's why a lot of people are not doing this. It's not something anyone can just jump into, and So anyway, very, very grateful for everyone that had a hand in making that possible, because that's a big step for what we're trying to do. And then when Spencer gets on, he can talk more about it. But yeah, and we'll talk about the MVP and what we can expect, timelines and things like that. Let's see. I guess this is kind of leading us into, one of our current focuses is our go-to-market strategy. We're sitting down and working. Oh, here's Spencer now.
Hello, how's it going?
What up?
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, you're all good. How's your daughter? Is she okay?
Yeah, she's on the up and up, so that's good. That's a huge relief.
Good. Yeah, we just made the announcement that everything with Prime Trust is done. So it's signed. We have access to full access to everything. We're going through the compliance steps right now, which is a massive thing, Holly. and it's all paid in full. We're good to go. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything you want to say on that, Spencer, before we go to the next part.
Yeah, no, it's just super exciting. It's going to be some very important steps in there with KYC and everything like that, working with the compliance officer, making sure we're all, cross our I's and dot our Q's, as they say. That's not what they say. That's not.
I think Spencer's confused this morning.
That's what Spencer says.
Yes, I'm flustered.
Genius create their own alphabet. That's
that's what it is.
On top of his Q's.
No, it's really cool, and it's been awesome to see. Alex, I don't know, are you there? I know this is like, sorry, I know it's not the most ideal format for you. I appreciate you doing it, but do you have that demo? Are you able to do a screen share of what I sent to you?
Is it on? We're just
it's on Slack, just in the general.
Let me
because what Spencer and Dave have been working on, we just want to show the demo of kind of where things are at right now, and then we can talk about timeframes too, Spencer. Kind of what we're looking at and what we can expect, because we've been talking about July deadline, and so just to give a realistic expectation of, all right, what is coming out in July, and then what does it look like in the future going forward. Do you have anything you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I just want to preface, like, what you're about to see is definitely, I don't know, it's sort of bare bones in a sense of like the UI and everything. I just want it to be known that like what you're seeing right now is like the very first version and the most basic version of the UI. And we're obviously going to do a ton of work sprucing it up and making it beautiful and cool looking and all that. But where we're at right now is essentially we have the full KYC process for a user done. And then once you're KYC'd, you can log in, you can generate a deposit address for right now. We're only in our testing, we're only using 3 assets. We're using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT. And they're actually, the way that they have everything set up is that it actually works on the testnet. So you're actually able to generate a deposit address and then deposit testnet Bitcoin, testnet USDT, and Ethereum. It gets credited into your account. And then from there, you are able to send it to other users. So that peer-to-peer transaction that we're talking about, which will also morph into paying merchants once we get to that point. The mechanics in that sense are exactly the same of how you would send money to a merchant or send money to another user. But it's more or less an instant transaction. It's gasless, and it's free. So that's really the beauty of that peer-to-peer transaction. And
just
I don't
real
think,
quick on that. I mean, it's fast. Like it's basically instant from what I've seen.
Yep. It's it's really fast, way faster than any blockchain could possibly be. So yeah, it's super fast and free. That's going to be the best part, right? You don't have to pay a $10 gas fee or whatever it is. And then I don't exactly know. I don't think we've really decided on the full asset list that we're going to support. But eventually, the next step beyond these peer-to-peer transactions, we're going to move on to swapping. You would be able to exchange one asset for another. I think the first iteration of it, some pairs will be paired with USD, which means you would actually be able to convert, for example, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, USDT. I'm not sure exactly the full list, but you would actually be able to swap those for USD, and then you could cash that out to your bank account. And then we may have some other pairs in there that would actually be a crypto for crypto swap.
Yeah, just on that point. So we're going to start out with 9 USD pairs, right? Do we know are we supporting all of that? I did tell Avi that we wanted access to support all of those.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it really isn't a huge deal development wise to add those extra assets. And obviously, we talked about with what we're considering doing with Para and other things that would take a little bit more time. But yeah, no, as far as supporting all those assets, and I don't know what the list is. I think
I've got it pulled up. So
go ahead.
Here's and these are the pairs to USD, right? And then we're gonna have pairs to like USDC and maybe Tether and stuff like that. But so we're gonna start out with 9 USD pairs. So that'll be Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Cardano, AVAX, Atom, Solana, and then we'll have USDT, USDC, and that'll be available whether so the USDC is the ERC20, but also Avalanche, Solana, and Stellar. So those are the 9 that we have, and then we'll also have Para. That's going to be, it's not going to be a USD pair, but we will have Para on there, and it'll be paired to like a stable coin is what we're talking about. And then we have the ability to do custody in the beginning of like 240 assets. Now, of those, Spencer, I don't know if we're planning on, I don't know what it is development wise, but we could add up to 240 of those assets, meaning there won't be the ability. So let's say Doge is one of those 240 assets. You can hold it in your account and you can send it. So if I had Doge and I wanted to send it to Spencer, I can send it to Spencer. Spencer wouldn't be able to cash it out or send it, convert it to USD or anything like that immediately. So you'd have to move it to like Uniswap or something at that point. But yeah, so I hope that's clear. So we'll have some liquidity pairs that's what you'd be able to cash to dollars. Or with interacting with a merchant, you'd be able to use those. Other than that, you have another list of 240 assets that you're able to send back and forth, but there's not a liquidity pair. You can't change it to dollars just yet.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't exactly know the answer to that question about do we want to support all of those or do we want to hold off until we can add the liquidity for them? I mean, it's sort of things to decide, but I could say for sure we would launch with those 9 USD pairs and then a Para pair as well. And that Para would probably be with USDT. So you couldn't cash out your Para directly in that sense. You would swap it for USDT or one of the, whatever our pair ends up being. If it's USDC, USDT, swap your pair for that. And then you would actually be able to go and swap that for USD and then cash that out if you wanted to directly to your bank account or buy more directly. You would do the reverse thing, right? So yeah.
So there's a big conversation we had many times now is if we even want people to be able to sell pairs just to use to unlock things.
Yeah, and that's something that we've sort of been going back and forth on internally is like, do we even need Para to be in the app? Because all we're really doing is we're making it super convenient to dump. and is that really what we want? Because you got to think about it. Like, yeah, as great as it would be to like buy your cup of coffee with Para, what that would actually look like is a sell. So if we have, tens of thousands of people out there selling their Para, in their day-to-day transactions, it's probably not going to be the best thing for the chart. So, I mean, I don't know, sort of conversations we've been having internally about what exactly the use case of Para would be. But I think we definitely want people to be able to at least, buy some, swap some, and all that within the app. But
and that seems to be the big benefit right now, is at least Para within the ParaPay app, because we're an on-ramp and an off-ramp. So you can use a credit card or whatever, your bank account, and you can buy Ethereum, you can buy Bitcoin, you can, move your money into this account and get into, onto the blockchain. And what's cool is if we had this as another alternative to, say, Uniswap or another one of these centralized exchanges, then it seems like we're able to offer an incentive where you're not spending, $30-$40 on gas to buy Para. You can just buy it gas free, basically.
Yeah.
And so there's some perks in there, but yeah, there's definitely a challenge of saying, all right, well, we don't want that to be like the primary currency used to sell either.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. So anyways, not I hope I didn't derail your train of thought, but I wanted to go over those that list of liquidity pairs that we have and what we'll be able to offer.
Yep. And yeah, that's fine. I think, Alex, if you want to roll the clip, I can kind of like talk through it a little bit. It's really short, but it's just sort of something to give you guys a visual to show you that something's here and it actually does work. Let's see. I see StreamYard Inception right now.
Yeah.
StreamYard within StreamYard within StreamYard.
There you go. That's the demo.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see. I believe in you, Alex. Maybe. I'm losing faith. No, I'm just kidding.
He'll get it.
We'll get it one of these times.
Well, usually I do this with two screens, so it's.
Oh yeah.
When it does it like this when you don't use two screens for some reason.
Yeah, I was thinking about this morning. Like, I don't have the ability to do a screen share. So I appreciate you trying to figure that out.
You can't hit like the present button?
I don't.
Yeah, that's if you do just a window or you do the entire screen, it still does it. See, I don't. Hold on.
You have it as a video because you could download it to your desktop and then like put it through OpenView or VLC.
Here, if I text it to you or send it on,
I can. Do you want me to try to present? I see the share screen button.
Yeah, you can present your screen.
All right, let me try that. Let's see.
Awesome.
Let's see.
Sorry, Alex, put you on the spot like that.
No, you're good. My wife's working from home today, so she's got all the monitors upstairs.
No, it's no problem.
All right, let's see. Hang on, let me pull it up. Here we go. All right, let's see. Share screen. Share screen. Da, 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 da. All right. Can you see?
Yep, we got it.
All right. So basically, this is sort of the login screen. I'll kind of like pause it as we go through. Obviously, like I said, any and all of this is subject to change. And this is a mobile app. I don't know if it looks like it on your screen. It looks like all one black thing, but the screen would actually end like here. But here is the login. And just so you know, this wouldn't actually be blurred out. We just did this to protect mine and Davinder's personal email addresses.
Except that it does show your personal email later.
It does? Okay. Well, don't look for that. If you send me an email, I'll be mad at you. All right. So I'm just joking. You can send me an email all you want. Here is just sort of the home screen. We have, like I said, right now we only have Bitcoin, ETH, and USDT, and these are all test nets. We don't actually have 8 Bitcoin. That'd be nice. And then you'll have buttons here to deposit. This would pull up your deposit address, although we don't show that in this thing. You would send it to a friend or potentially a merchant later. Buy, this would take you to the buy screen, and then this would be where we would go to swap. Obviously, all this functionality is not fully here. All we're showing right here is the peer-to-peer transactions. So he's gonna click into his Bitcoin. It's a little bit hard to see. There we go. All right. So he clicks into his Bitcoin. He can see, the current Bitcoin price, his balance, and then right here we have sort of the same options. This would just, make it easier. If you send, you would already have Bitcoin pre-selected. We would have, you would see all your recent transactions related to Bitcoin down here. So this would be a swap, deposit, withdraw, transfer, which would be like, peer-to-peer or to a merchant. And we're sort of still deciding how to categorize these. But essentially, I think he's just going to hit send here. And so for right now, the way that it's working is he's just going to put in the email address of my account, and then he's going to send it with a reference. This would be sort of like Venmo, where you would want to put, whatever. This is for pizza, or this is for dinner, or whatever the case is. But eventually, we're going to have a drop down right here where you'll be able to add people to your contacts, and you would actually just select from a list here. But in this case, he's actually running this, virtually on the thing. On his computer. So right there, he pasted in, my email address.
It did get blurred out. Okay.
Yeah, it did. And there we go. He said that happened a little bit fast, but so basically he put in the reference there for pizza. He's sending me 0.001, and then he would put in the email address of the peer that he wants to send it to, hit transfer, and there we go. It's probably hard to see on this video, but it pops up on the screen at the bottom there. You successfully transferred this amount. And then you would see your new transfer there, and it'd be subtracted from your balance and all that good stuff that you would expect. And so that's basically, that's more or less where we're at right now. The next step will be adding that swap feature. And then there's that. And then I think a big important thing to touch on here is this would be like the end user version of the app, which, we were talking about having a merchant version as well. And the merchant would just have some slightly different options. Is the reason that their app would be so different. But ultimately, the functionality would be the same and all that. And then one other thing that we'll add in here is if you're like standing next to one of your friends and you want to scan the QR code, obviously, we're going to add that. We actually have that in the merchant version already. But you just, pop open your QR code. Your friend would scan it, select the currency they want to send you, and then send it, and that's basically that. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. Just reiterating again, all this like UI stuff is still up to be, it will be changed probably drastically from this and then launch. So yeah, so I think for what we're aiming for, the first iteration will be a full on ramp, full off ramp, and then you'll be able to swap and send, peer to peer. I think that will be the very first iteration of it. Obviously, that's not the end. That will be like, the MVP, the minimum viable product.
Well, we have to step it out bit by bit. I mean, we started down this process. I don't think that this is too much information to share, because honestly, we're not like, don't read into this. We're not working with this company. We've started the process. You can go through and show companies like MasterCard and Visa what you've been doing, right? And they're really interested in trying to get some crypto. They have crypto initiatives, trying to get some things together, try and find cool products that they can be a part of. As we've gone down these pathways, you have to have something to show, right? If we show this demo, it's not what they're interested in, right? So we do iteration 1. We get 3,000 of our members onboarded. They have ParaPay. They're using this account. They're doing peer-to-peer transactions, everyone's a part of this. Then we have merchants that come on, and now we have stores and businesses that are accepting crypto. You know, I mean, there's a lot of benefits in this. That just to send, if I was to send Spencer, send Lee or Rad some para, I mean, the gas on that is, you know, I mean, it's not cheap. And it's more likely a pretty decent percentage, 10%, 15% of maybe what I'd be sending. So to have it instant with no gas, I mean, is a big thing. But once we have this, then we can go back and say, hey, MasterCard, Visa, whatever, you know, this is what we're looking at doing. We want a card that's not a prepaid card, right? We don't want a card that you convert to US dollars and then you load it onto your card and then you can spend it. We want the first crypto debit card where we're actually using crypto. We're debiting our crypto account. And that's the end goal, right? Where merchants and consumers can use this account, they can have a debit card, and that would be first of its kind, right? Because everything so far has been a prepaid card. But we think that the pathway that we're on, what we're able to do, will get us there. But yeah, this is the first iteration, and it's kind of like you've seen those sketches where people draw the face and it's an oval, and then the lines going across, right? It's come a long way, Spencer and Dave, too. I mean, it's looking really good, but yeah, it's not the final product, but it's getting there, and it's fun to see the functionality and what we're actually able to do. So yeah, well done.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that what you said there is like whenever we've looked into these Visa programs and stuff, and they're like the first step of sending, you know, even sending the application is like, you know, how many years have you been in business? What is your monthly revenue? How many customers do you have? And all that sort of stuff. And that's where it's kind of like, whoa, okay, we're not there yet. So as we get this first version of the app out and then move from there into merchants, I think it'll be much more appealing to those guys whenever we want to do business with them.
Yeah, certainly. So Prime Trust, we went through the demo, kind of what that scope of the first iteration is going to be. Timeline, I mean, so to have this app that you just showed, where you're able to on-ramp, off-ramp, peer transactions, custody of a certain you know amount of tokens, and then swapping. We're talking July. I know you hate deadlines, but I mean,
yeah, no, I think that's a reasonable deadline as far as development is concerned. As far as beyond that, I mean, I don't want to sit here and tell people that you'll be able to download it in July. I would be hesitant to say that based on the fact that there's a lot of compliance work that we haven't even started. We don't know what it's going to take. We need lawyers to write us terms and conditions. We need to put a lot of protections in place to protect the company. And that's like sort of the big question mark. But I think from a development standpoint, like we'll be definitely there. I would even argue maybe a little bit sooner. But as far as like, you know, there's a whole process with Prime Trust that you guys, I mean, the community doesn't know this, you know, they're talking, you know, they say 1 to 3 months just to get through the compliance portion. And then they have, you know, their engineers come in and look at how you're doing everything and making sure that it's legal and good, making sure you're using the APIs the right way, all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of stuff here that's going to happen between us and Prime Trust and lawyers and making sure that everyone is protected before you're actually able to download it. So that to me is the big question mark about what that timeline looks like. That's what I don't know. Prime Trust says 1 to 3 months. So if we, you know, I think we're still within that range, right? We're still within the July realm. I don't think it would be much later than that at all, if at all. So,
yeah. Well, and that's the thing is development side. We had our development timelines, and you guys have been doing a great job, and you'll hit those, right? Obviously, when you involve other businesses, third parties, and things like that, it does complicate things. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We've started that process. We've got there. Was it a 46-page thing? Whatever that was, Lee. I mean, I
think it's only 28 pages.
Oh, 28 pages. Okay. So only 28 pages. You know, just as the start off to the compliance questionnaire.
Yeah.
But
hey, let me add one more big question mark. It's going to be Apple. Okay. So it's like once we'll have it developed and then we submit it to the Apple App Store. And I mean, sometimes it's a nightmare, especially with crypto apps. They are not nice to crypto apps. So, I mean, it could be a situation where we're going back and forth. They're telling us what's wrong and all these things and all these compliance things that they have as well. I've heard that it can take, sometimes over a month to get actually listed on the App Store and be approved by Apple. So that's the other big question mark that I'm concerned about. Google Play they're pretty lenient. They'll just pretty much let anything through. But Apple is very greedy, and they want to make sure that they're getting a cut of all the action and all that sort of stuff. There's going to be contracts and negotiations with them and all that. So that's the other big question mark.
Yeah, and the point is just to give realistic. I mean, just be transparent about this process. So we want the whole community to be aware of what we're going to be doing over the next month or two, and what to expect. But ultimately, it's the right trajectory. Things are going well, and I mean, couldn't be more excited. Really, really happy to see this come together. And but yeah, going to market, that's always the hard thing, right? You got to build it, and then you got to bring it to market. So,
yep.
Lee, you have anything on that?
No, I didn't know if you're in the Apple Play, the Apple Store, that if as in the testing phase, if that changes anything on the timing of it.
No, it doesn't. There's a difference between getting on there for testing and then actually once you go to release, they send you through a final review process, and then they will almost certainly reject us the first time, and then you have to file an appeal, and then they basically want to be 100% clear on what you're doing with crypto and how it's doing it and how people are protected and all that sort of stuff. So it's actually not a bad thing in the sense of protecting the users and all that. They just want to make sure. And then they also have all their compliance stuff that they're worried about, where it's like, you can't, like, for example, here's the thing. If we were to say, you can't use the app unless you hold 100,000 para, that would actually violate Apple's terms and conditions, because you can't unlock a feature of an app without them getting a cut of it, if that makes sense. They would consider that like an in-app purchase that would unlock features of the app, and that's a violation of their terms and service. So it's just little things like that, where like they would want people would have to pay with a debit card, and then Apple gets 30%, and now you're in compliance, right? They just basically want to make sure that they get their cut. So however all that's going to play out remains to be seen.
Yeah, and it's insane. I mean, going through these stores and seeing.
If you look, Apple made I think it's like $1.5 billion last year from purely just taking apps money, because they get 30% of everything.
I know that's a lot. I mean, obviously that's a lot of money, but it surprises me that it's that little, because maybe
it was more. I saw. I don't know.
I mean, 30%. Anyway, not to get on that, but that is an insane amount. So yeah, but it's important, right, that we have to approach this in the right way, because if we were saying, I mean, yeah, if it's like what Spencer was saying, imagine giving Apple 30% of all para that's purchased. I mean, that would be crazy.
Yeah, and I don't, as long as we're clear and we don't unlock, it just has to be that, purchasing something in the app doesn't unlock certain other features, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, and right now, so the main benefit, obviously,
you're talking to Cameron 30. You're, to clarify for everybody, 30% of a fee. You're not talking about 30% of whatever's being moved by somebody. Whatever we're charging as a fee,
whatever our revenue would be. Right. So for any business, I mean, it's amazing how many. I worked for a business when I was doing electrical work, and they would be year over year 1 or 2% growth, whatever. And so to think about taking 30% and giving it to another company, it's just crazy. But anyway,
I just looked. It's 85. It was 85 billion in 2022. That was
85.
Way off. 85 billion.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1.3. That's a lot.
Yeah.
85 billion. That makes more sense. All right. Well, cool. Well, anyway, hey, I really appreciate the update on the app. You guys have been killing it. It's so fun to see you and Dave working together. Dave's a great guy. I don't know half of the things that you guys are talking about, and then I interject, and I'm like, I hope I'm not sounding like an idiot. You're nice and you're polite and courteous, and I appreciate you entertaining my thoughts. No, you guys are awesome. So, hey, I do want to move on to the staking announcement. We have to bring the community up to speed on this. So, we'll all kind of comment on it, but we have had the staking out. It's been approximately 6 months at this point, and we wanted to give this initial, it's actually 4 million para tokens a day. We wanted to give this rate out there and then monitor what does it look like, how many tokens are going out, and then adjust from there. So we have that ability to adjust the daily rewards. So we are going to be making an adjustment. It's going to be coming up. It's next Monday, June 5th. We'll make this adjustment to the rewards, but we're going to scale it down to it's 2 million para tokens a day. And the reason for this is we have to be managing this correctly. We have to look at inflation. We have to look at preserving the value, especially as we're going into this go to market. Here's a product, and then entering into kind of revenue generating mindset with this new app. But it shouldn't be. I hope it's not seen as a negative thing. Really, it's about preserving the value, preserving the integrity of the tokens. So, Lee or Rad or anyone that wants to comment on it, love to hear from you. But that's what's coming up with the staking.
Well, I would just say that if anybody's concerned about getting less, then just get yourself some of the alpha NFTs and use those amplifiers, and you can get your tokens back. Rewards should offset. If you had a couple of those NFTs, you could offset that.
Because I know our biggest holder, and he was in here and talking about how much we told him the change was coming, and he understands. Even he has more stake than anybody in the number of wallets, and it just he understood completely because of what he was getting per. Just the pressure, the possibility of sell pressure has been just after. But how many months have we been staking now?
I think we're coming up on 6, so it's almost been half a year now.
It's more than that, isn't it?
It might be, honestly.
Oh no, I think it's a lot more than that actually. But yeah, looking through the expenses, looking through all the finances, the financials of the company, and one of them was looking at how many transfers had come out of staking, and it was as far as rewards, and it's pretty massive.
That's what I was gonna say. Lee called me. He was like, "Hey, what are all these transactions?" And then we looked at them, and they were staking rewards, and it was a shocking number.
I don't know if we want to share the number or not, but
yeah, I don't care if you do it. It's just
it kind of makes sense when you look at the chart currently.
Exactly, you can see it on the chart. So that's kind of the thing. Although you'll get less rewards, it's also like Cameron said, you're preserving the value. Because we can see that it's hurting the chart.
$250,000 has been given away since we started staking in rewards.
Yeah, it was never meant to stay at this amount. And there's a few other factors that going into it. One, we do want to preserve the value of the chart. 2, we're looking at, when we're generating revenue and we're going to be doing buybacks and stuff like that, we're obviously going through the process of going through the SEC. But for the time being, so for instance, if you buy 10 Ethereum worth of para and then you give 10 Ethereum of para away, that revenue sharing, that's a dividend, right? As of right now, we don't want to be in that. So it's better to kind of scale things back, get it to a more manageable level, and then it's just constant reevaluation. Depending on what we're doing and where para is at and the holders and everything like that, it could change. Maybe go back up to 3 million or who knows, right? But we always knew that this was going to be the case. And at para to $1, right? We're not doing $4 million a day. Like, this is a given.
No, that's insanity.
So it's always it should be known that this is always in flux. It's going to be evaluated based on where we're at, and where we're at right now, we just need to scale it back. So
it was an extra bonus for being in early and being part of the staking, testing, and all the things that because we've had a few things that happened along the way, and remade that platform and all those kind of things. So yeah, just see it as an extra reward, guys. But don't forget, you can't offset it with your NFTs.
That's a good point. Yeah, one alpha changes the game, and now you're back to where you were anyways. But yeah, I hope everyone sees it for what it is. Of course, our DMs are open. Happy to talk about it and have that conversation. But ultimately, if we look at Para as a whole, what we're doing and where we're at, this all makes sense. And I hope that when you're seeing the value and you ask yourself, you know, what do I want out of a business, out of a project? What do I hope to see with payment processing within crypto and this whole future? I hope you're looking at Para and you're like, yeah, this is a solution. This is why I'm here. I see the big picture, and we're all on board sharing that same vision. So those are the updates that I have. I don't know if I'm missing anything. I mean, of course, the SEC, the SEC is progressing. Lee, I don't know. I don't want to, share things that maybe you don't want to be shared, but I like that message. You talked to your friend, and he was very interested in that whole thing. I mean, it's just bright blue skies, right? I'm excited. So
I think he's muted and doesn't know it.
I was muted and didn't know it. Jesse, I worked for probably another 6 hours yesterday on that to get to the point where I think that my part of that is finished, and Jesse's getting everything finalized in QuickBooks on some stuff we're waiting on. And then, I'm hoping today, Wednesday, we'll see what happens later this week, if anything happens on that too. So we will have to do a special stream or something once we do submit.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be exciting. It's just a long, big deal. It's a long process, but I mean, incredible.
There's been a lot of conversations on that topic as far as even like funding, raising funding, and what it means for shares and the things we're talking about with Para being Class B now, and shares of Rincor being Class A, and how that's going to work and how they're going to make it all. It's going to be interesting. It's still never been done, so it's a lot more uncharted territory, just like staking. We do need to talk about staking though real quick. People do need to go, and you need to collect. If you have significant rewards, you need to go collect those before we change this. When we tested, just in full transparency, when we tested the staking contract for locking the rewards, so say from day 1 to day 30, any random days, if people are in and out of the staking pool, you're getting the percentage of your time in the staking pool relevant to the other people in the staking pool as well. If we change today, the staking rewards to 2 million, the contract, because this goes back to doing something never done before, the Ethereum network doesn't know how to react. When we tried, so we have a lock function in there that would lock your rewards. Let's say you have 1 million tokens to go collect right now. And the lock function actually would lock the rewards you have from that very moment for everybody. Well, that worked when we tested for a few people. But now that you have over 1,000 people staked, however many people are staked in there, if the Ethereum network doesn't know how to handle it, it just freaks out when we try to do the transaction. Like it says, hey, we can't calculate the gas. It's at least $3,000 to do this transaction, which will probably fail. And so we do need everybody to go. We need to have reminders from here to then that people need to go get your rewards, because the day we change it to 2 million tokens, you will lose half your rewards that you have not claimed.
Yeah, that's basically the ramification. As soon as we run that transaction to change the rewards, you'll see whatever rewards you're currently sitting at drop in half. Should be exactly half. So just go collect beforehand, and I mean, that's all there is. Do it.
That's before the 5th, right? Just as a reminder to everybody on that date, June 5th. But I would also suggest that if you're going to claim rewards, remember that there is a fee. Anything that you do on Ethereum network, there is the gas fee associated with it. So if you're going to do this, you might want to wait until a little later at night. Gas has come down significantly from where it has been the last couple of weeks with that whole meme coin rush. It's looking a lot better for Gwei right now. But still, if you wait until the evening, it's just way lower gas.
Yeah.
Something to consider.
You have time. 5th of June, right? So you got about 5 days. The other thing I just want to make clear for anyone that is maybe not totally up to speed or hasn't done a lot with the staking, you don't have to unstake, right? You don't have to remove. There's a button for claiming, and that's what we're talking about. So you can leave it staked. You can, have it all there. When you claim it, you're just going to claim the rewards that have accrued, and so that's all we're talking about there. So yeah, make sure you do that. Weekends usually pretty good with gas. We'll be making announcements and sending out reminders and things like that. But it's just good. I mean, if you've been in there, there's no sense in losing out on rewards. Just go claim it, and then we'll make that change. So Spencer's done a lot of work with the staking, by the way. So if you have any issues, let us know. But that should be up and running, totally functional. We were doing a lot of testing, so looks good. All right. Hey, Alex.
Yes, sir. Come here.
I'm just reading the chat here. Okay. Alex, do we have anyone that wanted to get a link and come join in?
I don't have any messages from anybody on Telegram. So if anybody has any questions they want to come on and ask, please message me on Telegram and I'll send the link out. And we'll get Johnny, you can ask your question.
There's a couple of questions that have appeared in the chat, and I guess while we're on the subject of staking, we could address that one first. And that's whether we'll be able to stake Para from the ParaPay app. Are we just leaving these as separate entities for now?
Spencer?
No, I think it's safe to say it's totally separate entities at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know what there's a lot of ramifications for. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen any of this, but I think Binance and quite a few other people, they offer staking on their app and they're getting in a lot of heat for it. So I think we'll just leave that separate for right now and just leave it where it is. And also it's worth noting that the way that staking is working right now is going to be, that's all on chain as opposed to we have our own, I guess you could say that everything that we're doing within our app is off chain in the sense of that it's gasless and all that sort of stuff. You deposit it into our network and then we can move it around within our system. And so we would realistically have to completely redesign the entire staking platform to make that a thing. So I don't, maybe that's something we want to look at long term, but I don't think right now that would be you should not expect that anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case because one of the things that, I mean, again, we're going through this process with the SEC, so eventually we'll be able to have more options open to us. But one of the things is someone giving us their crypto to be custodians of, and where it's on chain and you're dealing with a smart contract, you're not sending your tokens to us. We can't take your tokens. We can't mess with your tokens. They're not ours, right? So we're not custodians. That's kind of a safeguard for us. While the SEC is figuring out what they want to do and how they want to approach things. But yeah, in the future, maybe. I want to highlight too, I mean, we have that Para Hub, right? It was the KYC compliance platform. It's kind of the central hub of Para. Eventually, I would love, and that's kind of the idea, is to have this central thing where you can go and see the chart. You can deal with maybe the ParaPay. You can deal with the staking. It's all kind of there for you at one central location, but again, that's in the future.
Next question we have, and I get this one in DM quite a bit. Major retailer that was talked about still on board?
Mr. Lee?
We have not even, it's one of those ones that was waiting on us to get to a point that we had a viable product for market. So we haven't followed up with them yet. And we will, hopefully we will hear in about a month or so.
Right. As far as Para, I just want to kind of highlight this too. When we get to the point where we're working with one of these card providers and we have that debit card hooked to your crypto account, the biggest consumer is going to be everyone using the card, right? That'll be the biggest client for sure. But yeah, we'll I'll follow Lee's lead on that one with this major retailer. Other questions? I'm gonna go to the chat.
Yeah, a couple more questions in there. Shri Deepak wants to know when advertising, but I'm guessing that's going to be when we have a product to share. But if you guys want to expand on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned that earlier as one of our big focuses right now is our go-to-market strategy, which this includes our marketing strategy. It includes our community involvement, because we have over 3,000 para holders. If we could make this where there's rewards or some sort of incentive for everyone that is able to go out and share it or bring on merchants or anything like that, we would love to factor that in. There's no sense in kind of leaving that out of the equation. So yeah, I mean, when advertising, it's something we're working on right now.
Awesome. And Deeper asks, if transactions are off-chain, where's the record of them? Always a good thing about crypto is to follow the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we mean by off-chain, right, is we're dealing with the this is where Prime Trust comes into play, right? So they have their 1-to-1 asset ratios, as well as they're building up their 1-to-1 revenue ratios. So this is a newer thing, but it's all with Prime Trust, certified custodian, and everything is kept 1-to-1. And then in the future, 1-to-1-to-1 when you include the revenue. So this is where it is. But yeah, Spencer, I don't know if you want to say, because you're in charge of all of that record keeping too. But
yeah. So I mean, I would say that it's all within our own internal system, and you'll be able to see it in your app. And I mean, keep track of everything there. It's no different than what you would see with Binance US or crypto.com or anything you do in there, as far as moving or trading and all that, the ledger, so to speak, there is handled within their own internal systems, and ours will be no different in that sense. Yeah, and I think that's just the thing. So whenever you would be able to track it on the blockchain up to whenever you move it into our network, and you'd be able to see that transaction, that deposit into your deposit address, and then if you ever do a withdrawal, you would see it on the train there. You could withdraw it back out to the blockchain, but other than that, that's it.
Yeah, and the benefit, of course, the reason why we're able to do this is because we're working directly with liquidity providers. There are people there that they say, here's the US dollars, right? We're going to provide that liquidity so people can move in and out of Bitcoin and Ethereum and, you know, those 9 other tokens. And so that's the way it works, but that's how we do gasless and save all those fees.
Kruger has 3 questions, which are one question, depending on how you look at it. Is the ParaPay revenue just going to do buybacks for Para, or are there multiple perks using the ParaPay? I guess I'm asking, how does ParaPay benefit Para holders?
Certainly.
So a lot of questions on that question.
Yeah.
So you could answer the first one. The ParaPay revenue is not just going for buybacks. There's no way we could keep running as a company if it's everybody. We have a volunteer force, and it never turns into a real viable company. So the app, yeah, we were looking at doing some buybacks. We haven't decided what that would be, but the revenue has to go to building the company how it needs to be, not. This is very unsustainable where we are for this year and last year, and where we need more people and more builders and more. We got more to do after this too. So, wait, compliance. Shoot, we were talking about. I mean, compliance person for this is going to be a high, not a low 6-figure number for somebody when this gets to a point. Somebody compliance with SEC. So now that has to go. Yeah, that has to go to building and growing. As far as benefiting the Para holders, that's what we were talking about when he was talking about. Well, we wanted it where if you held Para, then it would unlock something. But if for Apple isn't possible, with the other stuff we have, Para has to still be with the SEC. We wanted Para to have value there, but we're still trying to figure out. I'm waiting for lightning to strike somebody It seemed that, hey, how does the app actually, especially with Apple in particular, how does the app unlock stuff? Because it would be pretty crappy if the app unlocks stuff on like another platform, but hey, if I have an Apple, it doesn't cost me anything. Now we're just going to be selling Apple's phones for them because people will stop using their other phones so they don't have to pay fees or hold something.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would add here that I don't even know. I wouldn't even agree that it would be a good thing if you had to hold a certain amount of para. I mean, because then you're talking about only para holders being able to use the app, which sounds good on the surface, but ultimately it's like we want to be on the scale of Binance or bigger. So we can't ever achieve that sort of scale if we require that you buy our token and hold X amount. Like that's not how Binance got to where they are. And look at BNB. You know what I mean? It's one of the top cryptos. So I think that the more people we can get in, the more people looking at Para, the more people supporting and believing in the vision of it. I think that's where you'll start to see new holders and you'll see a major benefit there. I mean, you got to think about it. If we get 50,000 people using the app, probably we're now at 20,000 holders, which means the chart went up significantly. And then also, if we are to become a security with the SEC, we would legally be able to do dividends at that point.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be able to above board pay every para holder or whatever it ends up being. We would be able to legally pay dividends, a certain percentage of our revenue to those people. And so, I mean, I think that's kind of the thing. It's like, think about, why would you hold BNB? You don't get any special perks from it. You don't get staking rewards. You don't get anything. You hold it because you believe in the project and it's going to continue to rise, right? So I think keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Here are my thoughts on this too. So revenue from ParaPay and other things as we continue to grow and expand will be going to buybacks. That's a massive perk, right? Are there multiple perks for using ParaPay? I would say that there are perks with using ParaPay. One, you're now able to have crypto and use this as a competing currency if you wanted to spend Bitcoin to buy milk or something like that, right? And then, so I think ParaPay, separate from Para, has its own perks, and that's the value, right? That I think people are going to be using this app. I mean, we kind of talk about it almost as if it's the Venmo of crypto, right? Being able to send to your contacts Ethereum, Bitcoin, Para, Doge, whatever, basically gasless or whatever. I mean, that's pretty great. And then it says, I guess I'm asking, how does ParaPay benefit the Para holders? So one of the things we've been talking about, like when it comes to the cards, so when we get to that point, I would agree with Spencer. Like if we say, okay, you have to hold X amount in order to use ParaPay, now we're limiting. But we could do incentives. We could say, maybe the card has an activation fee of $38, but maybe if you hold Para, that activation fee gets waived. These are some things that we don't know, what that's going to look like, but we're talking about it, right? So there's plenty of things in the future that we want to be building as much incentive and reasons to hold Para, to buy Para. Maybe it means activation fees are waived, or whatever that means. But we're always looking for those opportunities. So just be, sure of that.
I think one thing we talked about, and we're still sort of talking through it, I don't want to say that you would expect this at launch, but whenever you do an exchange on ParaPay, there will be a small fee, just like there would be anywhere else that you do a swap. So maybe that maybe Para holders have a less fee or something along those lines. That could be doable.
Yeah.
But then the question, the tricky thing is, and I just say this transparently, is where staking comes in, because through the app currently, you don't ever have to connect your wallet to prove ownership of a particular wallet. And most Para holders aren't actually holding their tokens in their wallet. They're holding it in the staking pool. So there's not really a clean way for us to say how much each person has. And without you actually depositing it into ParaPay, where it's, off chain, like we can't really verify who has how many tokens and where they are. Some are in the staking pool, some are in a wallet, some are on Parapay. And if you do move everything out of the staking pool to Parapay, now you've just foregone your staking pool reward.
Well,
So
Spencer, we're really in the weeds
Yeah,
on this subject.
I mean, it's just a thing for people to think about. It's like people would just be so simply like, well, why can't I just get a perk because I hold Para? It's like, okay, well, we got to really talk through what that looks like.
Well, and I guess what I mean to say is, this is complete. Like we're just looking at it one iteration to the next, and when we're fully down the line and we have Para, a registered security, and we have the Parapay app, we have merchants, and we have consumers, and we have the cards. When this is all there, I mean, I guess I just want to say everything's on the table. I mean, there's nothing that might. I mean, well, I don't want to say this. I just want to say everything's on the table. I mean, maybe things change, and we say, you know, what we really want to do is maybe. Well, I guess I don't want, because we need to really talk it as a team. But I don't want to get too far in the weeds because things are going to be changing. We're always going to be reevaluating and saying, hey, listen, we really want people using Parapay. We want people to have Para in the app. So then we would say, well, the natural consequence would be let's shift focus from this thing and move it to this thing. And let's build those incentives and let's see what we can do to phase one thing out for the next thing. And so, I mean, it's always going to be iterative. We're always going to be reevaluating where we're at and trying to provide the most value for everyone involved. I mean, if we help people accomplish their goals, then we believe that we'll have our goals accomplished in the process.
And that's one thing that I've always loved about this project is that it has grown organically and that the team is always really ready to listen to feedback from the holders. And so as more people come in and, you know, as things start to scale up, I'm sure that, you know, like you said, it's going to have to be a lot of reassessment. But a part of that is also communication between you guys and the team. So if you see something that you think could be done better, hey, let us know. That's always been open for you guys to be able to do that. That's part of what my role is with the team. But also speaking of scaling things up and communicating, just imagine like a part of that revenue is going to have to go to some kind of customer support because we have like, 3,000 holders now. Imagine 50,000 holders. If any of you guys want to swap and do my job free, like I do now, or Alex, raise your hand and let me know. But I'm telling you, at 50,000 people, there is no way anybody's going to be able to, like a two-person team trying to answer the questions of a bunch of people who are like, you know, on the spot, trying to use the phone at a retailer. What do I do? Like, there's going to have to be customer support and all of those things. So just, you know, as much as we've been running on this very small, as small as we can, very streamlined team, things are definitely going to have to upscale. I'm sure Lee could go into all kinds of things about that, but you know, this is going to be big. It's going to take a lot more hands as well.
Lee's going to move everyone out to Colorado, and he's got a was it $12 million building?
That's weird. The building's in there empty waiting for us. It was built for Para.
That's right.
It really was. It's a nice building. It's got a great, I'm not going to name the street, but the name of the street just is like perfect.
I don't know if Spencer and Cameron haven't told their wives yet, but they're already moving out here too. Like, this is already.
I actually told my wife. She is thrilled. So the sooner the better on my end.
I'm afraid to tell my wife.
It's a destination. It's Fort Collins, Colorado.
It snows there. Like, I got my eyes set back on Hawaii or like, I don't know, Costa Rica. We can't go offshore.
No, it's good. Hey, Alex.
I'll take Dubai. Branch office.
Alex, can you throw up the comment about Spencer's beard real quick? Because it's just,
Yes, of course.
This is really what counts, guys. This is what.
This is the important. This is why we're all here.
This is why we're here. Yeah, Spencer joining the team has been the biggest, you know, value add to Para since the launch.
But only because of my beard.
Well, yeah.
Strictly.
No, I think it's good. I love these end of the month huddles. We get to reflect on what we've done and where we're at and where we're going. You know, sometimes the pathway seems really, really far and long, but it is nice to kind of sit back and reflect on how much has been accomplished and the work that's been done. And you know, we're on track, we're on pace, and what we're doing, still no one has done. I've seen some things every now and again. I get a message, kind of a panicked message of like, oh no, look at this thing that just came out. And then you do a little bit of digging and you see what it's about and you say, yeah, that's cool. It's not what we're doing. We're still one of a kind. And you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Para's got a little bit of time, but we'll be there. Anything else, guys?
I think that's as far as your updates go.
Cool. I think a lot of people have been out there claiming their rewards. I saw the pool of tokens has decreased by about 50%
in the last 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. So I'm sure we'll be sending a funding request soon. Mm-hmm. So what counts as the price of the token, market cap, and liquidity? Tell me how you drive the price of the token up.
I think Spencer had the best response to that already too. It's the same reason that Binance is valuable. It's the same reason. The more eyes you see on something, the more people jump in. That's just the way it's the world.
I mean, directly we're doing buybacks, right? So that's something that we're doing directly, but we're also splitting up and adding Para through the SEC to traditional markets, which is much bigger than crypto markets is a traditional market. So now we have we will have a much wider audience. And then of course, having an app that is out to merchants, is out to consumers, and being able, the first real debit card and payment system with crypto. So
I want to go on record and just say, you can hold me to this, you can record this and and hold it later. I would go on record and say that the indirect growth that you'll see of the Para token will far outweigh just the buybacks, like all the things that Cameron just listed, getting all those indirect things of just our growth and us accomplishing our goals. We will have such a huge indirect, surge of holders that it will far outweigh any direct thing we could ever offer you, in that way. So I just want people to keep that in their mind.
It's always, if we're building something that's a long lasting, that has staying power, that's a real business and value, has a value offering to people. I can't tell you how much money and time it would save me if I was able to use crypto rather than getting paid in crypto, converting it to something, the whole thing. But then as a merchant, to be able to expand this whole, I can get paid not in just dollars, but also in crypto and save money doing it. Anyway, it's providing value to people, having staying power and building a real business. That's what, is going to drive the token price up. So yeah, Spencer, I completely agree with you. Agree with you. And honestly, I don't know. We know that's the recipe. So when we're talking, when I talk to Rad or Lee, Spencer, Alex, we talk to the advisors, the question is not, all right, guys, how are we going to drive Para up? It's, what do we have to do? What are we doing with the business? What are we doing with the product? What's the next step? Because we know that that's what follows. It's just like exercise or anything like that. If you go to the gym, you're eating right, you're working out, there's only one result. The result is you get stronger, you get fitter, you get healthier, right? So if we're doing that with business, there's only one result, which is success, right?
Well,
all right.
No, I agree 100% with that. People are like, oh, you don't look at the chart. I'm like, wait, if I just stared at the chart all day, I'd be depressed and if we just work on what we're building, then the chart can take care of itself. And
well, yeah. If you live by the chart, you die by the chart, right? I mean, if it's going down, you're depressed. If it's going down, you're depressed and you're not building. And then when it's going up, you get complacent and you're not building. I mean, that can't be how our business is run. It's got to be, we're doing what needs to be done every single day, and just knowing that the effects will pay off in the end, because that's just how the world works.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, if you look at all these meme coins that have had a big rush in the last month, have been a really good example of, no chart is sustainable without some kind of business or utility behind it. Everything that's done really well for 2-3 days or even a week is now they're finished. Basically, if you didn't get out by now, you're done. Your bag is nuked. So, we're doing the exact opposite of what everybody else is trying to do. Everybody else is trying to do a pump, and then there's just nothing at the end of it. So just got to flip that script completely. We're doing something now and building organically.
But it's crazy. The fact that there's some ballsy people that are back again in the meme space, making tokens that have zero anything going on and pumping them up, and you can sit there and look at watching the transactions. There's one of the largest ones right now. You can watch a singular wallet buying and selling and creating volume that, if you want to go to compliance, is not artificial volumes, not going to be something the SEC smiles upon. And so, if we want to release some bots on the para, chart, good volume, I know we would answer for that later. And that's something that's not something we wanted to ever do. And all those little things you do to pay decks to get trending and all this crap, and it's all fake.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I think are going to have some investigations very soon. I mean, people that have launched like 3 tokens inside of a month, different tokens. It's not like a relaunch or version. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just token after token, and they're just launching and launching and launching, and just like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes when the man with the briefcase knocks on their door.
It's, I understand the fun. I understand, every now and again, it's fun to go to a casino and gamble, but that's what it is. It's musical chairs, it's gambling, it's casino, it's fun. That's not what we're doing. And also we have the benefit of seeing, so in new tech, I'm a firm believer that it's the opposite. It's not first mover advantage, right? So we're seeing people, we actually saw, I'm not going to name any names, Spencer, Lee, Dave, we saw this new product that came out, I think it was last week, and they had their strategy on, you have to own a certain amount of this thing and then you get access, and so we were kind of sat back and, how did this work? And let me tell you, it didn't work. The chart didn't move at all, right? So they have a product, it looks great. It's not as groundbreaking as maybe it was hyped up to be, but it's a great product. I think it's cool. I know a lot of people are going to be using it, but they said you have to buy this token in order to use it. Didn't work. I mean, from the all-time low to where it's at, it's up 35%, but from when they made the announcement to where it's at now, it's down about 15%. It's, so nothing's changed. First mover advantage in new tech is not always an advantage. Being able to sit back and learn from other people's mistakes and see what's working and what's not working, I think that we're going to have a real benefit that we can glean from that.
I mean, that's true. If you've been around long enough, you know that nobody who went first is doing. I'm like, where's Ask Jeeves? Where's I don't know, Hotmail, those kind of things. So yeah, you stick around the space long enough, you know that.
Yeah. I'm grateful for the community, grateful for everyone that's been around, sticking it out. I know it's not easy. I know that FOMO is a very real thing for sure. I've seen messages. I've had my best friend, he sent me a message and he went in and bought a whole bunch of meme coins, and he sends it to me saying, I'm down 50%. Then the next day, I'm down 70%. I get it. So I just want to say I'm grateful for the community. I think that we've got thousands of people here that are sharing, that see the same vision, that are sharing the same vision, and are willing to stick it out and do the right thing. And I believe because of the hard work that's being done that it'll pay off. So I'm grateful for everyone that's here. So thanks very much for the time.
For real, I'm grateful for everybody that's here too. And I just, I know so many of you guys like on a personal level, and we share stories in our life and everything else. And I hate seeing people get wrecked. I'm never going to tell you what to do with your bag, but I have seen so many people get wrecked on these meme coins lately. So, I can't tell you to hold on to your power no matter what. You're going to do what you want to do. But my God, just remember, by the time you've heard about something new and exciting, it's probably already too late. That's just the fact. So I'm just, yeah, I get a little bit overwhelmed the last couple of days. I've seen people that have made some plays and just lost a lot. And I feel really, really bad about it, but live and learn, I guess. But what to say? Hold tight. We're growing. We're doing things. You can see the progress that's happening. If you didn't see it, if you're just joining us now, when this stream ends, it will be immediately available for rewatch here on YouTube. So you can go back and see the walkthrough that Spencer showed of what the ParaPay app is going to look like. So you guys can see that, yes, there is something happening, and able to show it to you now, at least, in its early version. So just hang in there, guys. Patience is rewarded.
All right, guys. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, I also want to thank all of you guys for coming on today, taking time out of your busy day and talking about everything. Spencer, Lee, and Cameron, and Rad, of course. So watch out for our next live stream or next huddle. We'll post it up. And thank you, everybody, for coming out today. And everybody have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
You as well, brother. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
For sure, everybody.